How do people react when you take their phones from them?
They are shocked.
The German police has launched mass raids on suspected criminal postwriters. 170 operations were executed in which the German police targeted what they refer to as digital arsonists. Given the fact that most of the headlines internationally that we see coming out of Germany tend to be about a Syrian asylum seeker or an Afghan migrant committing a mass stabbing or a truck ramming at a Christmas market, one is quite confused that the German police has time to pursue people who are accused of online crimes as opposed to actual physical crimes of mass stabbings on the streets of Germany. But here we are. 60 Minutes did a piece on German hate laws and actually accompanied police on one of the raids. Let's watch a fragment of this 60 Minutes episode.
Is it a crime to insult somebody in public?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And it's a crime to insult them online as well?
Yes.
The fine could be even higher if you insult someone in the internet.
Why?
Because in internet, it stays there. If we are talking here face to face, you insult me, I insult you, okay, finish. But if you in the internet, if I insult you or a politician,
that sticks around forever.
Yeah.
Why does this man specifically reference politicians? Because in German law, German politicians and public officials enjoy heightened protection against insults, something that is commonly referred to as the lèse-majesté law. There was an insane case from last year in which a 64-year-old retiree named Stefan Tompson, who was a former sergeant in the German army, was investigated and raided by the German police for having posted a meme online which called the Green Party leader Robert Habeck a moron. The 64-year-old was raided at 6:15 in the morning by the German authorities.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
If somebody posts something that's not true, and then somebody else reposts it or likes it, are they committing a crime?
Yeah, in the case of reposting, it is a crime as well, because the reader can't distinguish whether you just invented this or just reposted it. That's the same for us.
The punishment for breaking hate speech laws can include jail time for repeat offenders. But in most cases, a judge levies a stiff fine and sometimes keeps their devices.
How do people react when you take their phones from them?
They are shocked.
There they are laughing at the people that are being arrested for the crime of posting a meme, a mildly offensive insult, of calling someone a moron, for example. This is what they laugh at. They find it amusing, this power that they have over the common citizen, that they can withdraw their devices for the crime of posting something that is considered mildly offensive by someone else, and in this case, of mildly offensive by a politician. The politician is protected against the individual. It should be the absolute opposite. The politician is there to serve the interest of his voters, and not the opposite.
They are shocked.
It's 6:01 on a Tuesday morning, and we were with state police as they raided this apartment in northwest Germany.
6:01 in the morning. The German police is doing this to truly intimidate the civilian, waking him up on a Tuesday morning. 6 police officers raiding him for the crime of committing digital arsonism, of being a criminal postwriter.
Inside, 6 armed officers searched a suspect's home.
6 armed officers. These officers who are searching this flat are armed. This man here is accused of having posted a racist cartoon online. 6 armed officers are going to raid his flat to make sure this man isn't a public danger.
Prosecutors say those electronics may have been used to commit a crime. The crime, posting a racist cartoon online. At the exact same time across Germany, more than 50 similar raids played out. Part of what prosecutors say is a coordinated effort to curb online hate speech in Germany.
So there we have it. The Germans are curbing hate speech online. They are cracking down on these citizens committing the most horrific crime of posting a racist cartoon online. Now, I don't know how racist or not racist the cartoon that this man reposted online was. What's interesting is that police is wasting valuable time pursuing a man who didn't even create the meme. He merely shared it. This is happening in the context of an explosion of actual violent crime in Germany. For context, just yesterday, a 20-year-old Syrian on a train from Hamburg to Vienna took out an axe and a hammer and attacked 4 people. He managed to injure 4 people before another passenger managed to subdue him, calm him down and disarm him. In May 2024, an Afghan asylum seeker stabbed 6 people at an anti-Islamism rally in Mannheim. He killed a police officer. That police officer could have been one of those officers who was busy raiding people for online memes. Instead of those police resources being deployed to combat actual violent extremists such as this Afghan asylum seeker, his co-officers are busy arresting German citizens who are complaining about the virtues of diversity online. In August, a Syrian asylum seeker stabbed 3 people to death and wounded another 8 at a diversity festival in Solingen. Those same people at that diversity festival who are busy promoting mass migration to Germany are now being attacked by the very people they are bringing in to Germany as new German citizens. Just before Christmas, a Saudi asylum seeker drove his SUV into a Christmas market festival in Magdeburg. He killed 6 people, wounded 299 and left 41 of those in critical condition. The year 2025 in Germany started no differently than the year 2024 ended in Germany. An Afghan Islamist asylum seeker attacked a group of kindergarten children visiting a park in Aschaffenburg. He killed a 2-year-old boy and the man who bravely intervened to try and stop the attack. In February, an Afghan asylum seeker and bodybuilder shouting Allahu Akbar drove his car into a trade union demonstration near Munich's central train station, killing 2, a mother and her 2-year-old daughter, and injuring 39 people, of whom 18 suffered serious injuries. In February, an asylum seeker stabbed a Spanish tourist in front of Berlin's Holocaust Memorial. He had a Quran in his backpack, and he later told the police he was targeting Jews. And in May of 2025, a Syrian asylum seeker ran up to 5 students in front of a bar in Bielefeld and stabbed them. 4 of them were seriously wounded. He had become radicalized a few months earlier and had declared that he wanted to join ISIS. Now, these are just a few examples of extremely violent crime. There's some insane statistics that have come out of Frankfurt, where foreigners were responsible of 100% of serious crime in Frankfurt and 57.4% of all crimes. Here is a little breakdown of the crimes in Frankfurt. Foreigners, 100% of sexual assaults, 93% of pickpocket incidents, 83.3% of human trafficking, 80% of day home burglaries, 75.6% of aggravated theft, 70.3% of smuggling offences, 65.7% of theft of general theft, 60% of crime against life, 52.8% of child abuse, 51.9% of arsonism, and 51.5% of assaults. I sense that there is a pattern to the crimes being committed in Frankfurt. This all reminds me of the speech that Vice President J.D. Vance gave a few months ago at the Munich Security Forum. Let's watch a brief extract of what J.D. Vance had to say to European elites in Munich.
I believe there is nothing more urgent than mass migration. Almost 1 in 5 people living in this country moved here from abroad. That is, of course, an all-time high. The number of immigrants who entered the EU from non-EU countries doubled between 2021 and 2022 alone, and of course it's gotten much higher since. And we know this situation, it didn't materialize in a vacuum. It's the result of a series of conscious decisions made by politicians all over the continent and others across the world over the span of a decade. We saw the horrors wrought by these decisions yesterday in this very city. And of course, I can't bring it up again without thinking about the terrible victims who had a beautiful winter day in Munich ruined. Our thoughts and prayers are with them and will remain with them. But why did this happen in the first place? It's a terrible story, but it's one we've heard way too many times in Europe and unfortunately too many times in the United States as well. An asylum seeker, often a young man in his mid-20s, already known to police, rams a car into a crowd and shatters a community.
As JD Vance points out, this did not happen in a vacuum. There is a series of politicians who have allowed this to happen over the last few decades. None of these people have taken responsibility for the consequences of their actions. Every single one of the politicians who opened the borders to asylum seekers, who then became failed asylum seekers and killed European citizens, technically has blood on their hands.
How many times must we suffer these appalling setbacks before we change course and take our shared civilization in a new direction? No voter on this continent went to the ballot box to open the floodgates to millions of unvetted immigrants.
It is our duty to vote these politicians who put the feelings of criminals above their victims, who put asylum seekers above the interests of European people, out of power, and to replace them with politicians who will ensure that freedom of speech is protected, our borders are secured, and the interests of the European people are put first.